Going on, guys? Steel here. Wanted to do just a discussion today on knife jimping. And jimping is a topic you'll find come up a lot in knives. I'm outside, so hopefully the wind doesn't pick up too much. But jimping is, even in a lot of reviews, something you will find come up a lot. Either in the absence of it, there generally seems to be, I don't know if you get a lot of complaints, but it seems like a lot of people want their knives to have jimping on the spine, especially in the tactical realm. Me, jimping has never been a make or break for me on a knife. I don't really care if it is there. Really, though, I kind of prefer it not to be. Especially depending on how it's done. I find during long-term use of a knife, jimping can just end up becoming a hot spot. But that's the main discussion, is the arguments for or against jimping. I have a couple knives that I'll compare and talk about. But part of the discussion goes into ergonomics as well, and how I think with well thought out ergonomics, jimping isn't really a necessity. Again, this is just my opinion, but we'll start out with a Mora. Shown it already, I've been using it. The Mora is a simplistic design, Scandi ground, but there is no jimping. On the entire knife, there is none. And this is a knife meant for outdoor use, so wet conditions, possibly, I'm not going to use the term hard use, but heavy cutting use. And what I mean by that is, say you're cutting into deeper cuts in this wood, which is some of the testing I've been doing against comparison. You get a lot of force exerted. And when I'm doing work like that, I'm generally in a hammer grip anyways, but you may put your thumb up to give your palm a rest when you're cutting, doing the deep cuts. And I don't really feel like my grip is insecure with a lack of jimping. The ergonomics are, like I said in the first video I did, a little different than I'm used to, mainly because the back end of the handle is wider and taller. Maybe not wider, but it's taller than the front. So this it does make my finger feel like it could slide forward. It does have this guard though, so you really do have a secure grip. And the rubber gives a lot of traction. I think, I mean, the only real application I can see for jimping's necessity, it would seem, is if you're in a saber grip. But here's the thing I don't quite understand. If in theory, if you are in a saber grip and you're going in for a stab, because, you know, that seems to be the argument in its need, where's your thumb going to go anyways? You know, I don't really see jimping a whole lot helping on, if it's gonna twist. I don't know how much it's gonna help your thumb stick. It could some, but I don't see, it seems like it would take a lot of force to get your thumb, especially when just pushed down on the spine anyways, to slide off. And for your hand to completely slide up the blade, my primary concern is my finger sliding up first, because once your finger slides, your thumb is naturally going to follow. Even if you have jimping there, if the force is great enough that your finger is overcoming forward, it's not going to matter what your thumb's doing. So I don't know, to me, as long as my finger has enough security in the handle, I prefer like a rounded spine or just feeling the smoothness of the spine. I don't really need the jimping there. Like I said, again, in heavier use, it seems to just end up tearing my thumb up. Now, there is some well done jimping. Ticks all over out here. This is Ontario Tradition Knife Works. I've been using this outside as well. Even though it may not look suitable for outdoor use, it does quite well. You can see it does have jimping. It's actually a little bit back if you're wanting it for the pad of your thumb, but not a big deal. But you can see here it has a large part of the blade acting as a guard for the handle. So once your hand is in this grip, it also has a bird's beak at the back. Once your hand is in this grip, especially in a hammer grip or even in a saber, it's going to take an awful lot for your hand to slip up and over this guard, especially in the security that the handle has. You have the handle grooved out, recessed here a little bit for like the meat of your palm. You have the guard. You have the bird's beak for, I don't even know, backwards forces that could happen. And in this case, again, in a saber grip, if I stab, I believe your finger is going to absorb the primary force. Your thumb isn't going to absorb as much of the force as your finger, I don't think. I'm not a physics expert, but in the stabbing that I've done, your finger is the main thing holding on. So I don't know. This jimping is not, it's aggressive when you push enough pressure. Otherwise, it's right in line with the spine. So it really only starts to grip when you push down a lot. This is jimping that I like. It's not overly aggressive until you want it to. It's kind of like pressure sensitive jimping. I don't know, that doesn't. But, so the handle security here is where I don't really see jimping being a necessity. I'll go to this Tom Crine. No jimping on this spine. It's not really rounded, but it's got the slightest bit of chamfering on the spine. You can see that distal taper. That's not really part of this. So in Tom's handle design, you kind of have, I don't know if you really want to call it, I wouldn't call it like a hilt, but you kind of have a double finger groove or choil. Some people maybe call it a double finger choil. Then you pretty much have the mimic of that at the back of the handle. And again, you have part of the blade acting as a finger guard. So once again, with this handle's ergonomics, I now have two fingers locked in back here, two up here, and the blade acting as a guard. Puts it in a nice natural position for cutting. And the saber grip, hammer as well. And again, my finger sticks well to the spine. I mean, my thumb, I don't have a problem on bare metal at sticking, so I just find it more comfortable not to have jimping there, really. And with good ergonomics, I don't have the feeling of insecurity when I'm doing work, even heavy push cutting. I don't know. I know it's all personal preference, so I guess for those of you who really like jimping, I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts. But again, with good handle design, I don't feel like I have an insecure grip, so I don't really mind not having jimping there. I find it more comfortable when working to not have it, for the most part. But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching as always, guys.